Hey team, today we are going over a couple of hip extension variations to help us improve the overall functionality of our hip, especially within extension, and then also potentially reduce any lower back pain, lumbar spine. So how that happens is a lot of us are in position where we sit a lot during the day, and what happens is our hips are the front of our hips, the anterior side, get into this shortened and tightened position for long periods of time. Our glutes are in a lengthened position for a long period of time, which can reduce the amount of activation that you get out of the glutes. We stand up out of that position that we've been sitting in for long periods of time. Our hips are tight in the front, which can pull us into an anterior pelvic tilt, which compresses the lumbar spine. And again, we're not getting that maximal or ideal glute activation out of our normal everyday lives. And so a way that we can offset that is working hip extension. So hip extension, again, if I'm seated, I'm flexed. If I'm extending, I'm going the opposite direction. So how do we work that? So we're going to go starting into a hands and knees position. Our hands are going to be under our shoulders, and then our knees are going to be directly under our hips. We are going to drop down to our elbows and forearms. So our elbows are going to be under the shoulders and the knees are going to remain under the hips. What we will do is we will extend one leg back first, and then I'm going to drop that knee down towards the floor. From here, I'm going to flex at the knee. So I'm going to bring that left side heel as close as I can to that left side glute. And what this position does is it helps, being in this shortened position, helps make sure that we are not using our lumbar spine to help us achieve the movement. You are literally blocked from using it because of the position that we're in. But some of the compensations that you can do are leaning forward to help us build momentum in order to get that hip into extension. So we want to make sure that we're not using momentum to help us out. Also, opening the hip. So if the hip is tight, tendency is going to want to be to kind of open it up. So we want to make sure that the hips stay facing the floor throughout the movement. So this is the first variation. And also if you find yourself, so we'll start right here. And what we'll do is we'll drop that knee down, flex at the knee. And then what we're going to do is lift that left leg or that foot towards the ceiling as high as we can. And from here, now you can see I'm lengthening those anterior tissues while strengthening those posterior tissues, getting some more glute activation. You generally would hold for about 3 to 5 seconds and then release down slowly. From the back side, I'll show you. So again, I extend, I drop, I flex at the knee, and as I lift, again, I want to make sure that I'm not leaning forward or opening at the hip. I want to make sure that my hips stay facing forward as I lift into my hip extension. Again, lengthening those anterior tissues in the front, that psoas area, while strengthening those glutes. Come down slowly with control. To progress this movement, I'll show you again from the side. So from here, what I'll do is I'll extend, and now I'll keep this leg straight. So I don't really want any softness in the knee. I want that knee as extended as possible, not hyperextended, but extended where the point where the leg is straight. And then from here, what I'll do is now the lever is longer versus the shortened version. It's longer, and then I lift, same thing. I'm holding for 3 to 5 seconds at the top before I slowly release down with control. To progress this movement, I'll show you from the other side. You just change the position. So the further forward you are, the more accessible the movement becomes. The further back you are, the more challenging the movement becomes. So now you can see I'm really on top of that heel, my left heel for my right side, and I won't be able to lift as high. But now, again, I'm getting that lengthening of that anterior tissue, but now I'm getting big time strengthening out of that right side glute. Come down slowly with control. To add on, as we're going through extending at the hip, what we can do is, what I like to do is like an elevated split stance movement. So I'll put one leg on top. If you don't have a bench, you can use a chair as long as the chair doesn't swivel. And from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down, straight down, not necessarily forward. So I'm not telling you that it's not okay to have your knees over your toes. It is okay to have your knees over your toes. Your knees will not explode as long as you are prepared for the movement. But what we're trying to do again is lengthen that anterior tissue while getting some more glute activation. So from the side, I'll show you. From here, I want to drop down while keeping that hip extended. So I don't want my hips back too far. I also don't want to load into the lumbar spine. I want to keep a nice straight line from my head, shoulders, rib cage, hips. And then I'm going to go down as deep as I comfortably can while actively engaging that same side glute that's down. Smooth deep breaths, kind of hold for a few seconds, come back up and reset. From the front, what you want to make sure that you're not doing, or you want to eliminate as much as possible, is to create more space. Tendency is to kind of bow the leg out so I can get deeper. Or sorry, I did the left side already, so I'm going to do the right side. So we're going to make sure that the leg does not bow out, that it stays facing forward, that the right hip is going to stay facing forward. And then again, as I get deeper, to create more space, the tendency is going to want to be to open up, but we want to keep that leg straight. Get as deep as we comfortably can. Contract that glute on the side that's down. Stand up and return. To progress that, we can go from top to bottom. So before we're starting with the foot on top, or we're on the ground, and then we're putting the foot on top. But now we're going to start on top of the bench. And I'm just going to alternate for you real quick. Step back down. Really putting a lot of pressure, not pressure like bad, but in a good way. Putting tension, I should say, I guess, on that anterior tissues from the front. Stand back up. And then I'm going to alternate with the other side. Again, making sure that I'm not bowing out. Keeping the legs square, the hips square. Get as deep as I comfortably can. Hold for a few seconds at the bottom, then stand back up. Finally, a way that we can work on strengthening is through isometrics. So I'm going to get into that half kneeling position. From here, again, making sure both of my legs are at 90-degree angles. And then what I'll do is I'll come about 1 inch off of the floor. You can put whatever you want. You can put your hands on your hips in front like you're doing a goblet squat. Hang them down by your side. As I stand up, I want to make sure I'm not going forward. I also want to make sure that, again, I don't go into an anterior pelvic tilt. I want to keep myself square with my hips. Keep that left side glute engaged. And then I come 1 inch off the floor. And then I'll hold this position for about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down slowly with control. Showing you from the front. So same thing, that foot, that back foot is dorsiflexed. So you get some toe extension as well. I stand up 1 inch off the floor. There's not a lot of movement. My hips are square. My leg is not bowing out. And again, now I'm putting tension on that front side tissues, the anterior tissues, to help strengthen, which can also, again, help reduce back pain. Come down slowly with control. One more time from the side. So as I go through again, I want to make sure I get some glute engagement. So I don't want an anterior pelvic tilt. It's almost a posterior pelvic tilt, but not full blown where I'm rounding. But again, neutral. Get that glute engagement. Hold for a few seconds. Isometrically strengthen those tissues. Come down slowly with control. Thank you for following along. If you find this information useful, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.